Hey everyone, this is Abbas from TechRadar and I've been using the OnePlus 8 Pro as my daily driver, so let's talk about that. Before we get started, would very much appreciate it if you can subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon for notifications on all our new videos. So OnePlus has always been about value. The company originated with the fact that they provided you high quality, high spec devices for a very affordable range. However, over the years, what's happened is that OnePlus has started increasing their prices, and the OnePlus 8 Pro that I have with me today costs almost as much as a regular flagship from the Samsung, such as the Galaxy S20 Ultra or the Oppo Find X2 or even the Huawei P40 Pro. The question is, does it offer all of that and can it justify the price tag to match that? The quick answer is yes. OnePlus 8 does check all the boxes when it comes to providing the specs, but there's a little bit more to it. Let's look at some of the features of this phone. Let's start with the design. The OnePlus 8 Pro is a big phone, very much like all other flagship phones of nowadays. OnePlus has cut down a little bit of a weight on this. It's just about 200 grams, so it's fairly manageable in your hand. I've got this ultramarine blue color, which what I like about it is that it doesn't catch much fingerprints. The matte finish on the back is nice. It doesn't get dirty very easily. What I don't like about it is the ultra curved screens on the sides. Now, OnePlus has issued a few software updates since I've been using the phone, and accidental touches have reduced dramatically, but it's still there. Every once in a while, I'll pick up the phone or I'm on a call and something will get tapped on the screen when it shouldn't have. So if there was one thing that I would change is possibly have the option of having a flat screen on these phones. I'm not sure why we need these overly curved screens. Yes, they kind of look nice, but let's not sacrifice usability over the way everything looks. Coming to the screen itself, the massive screen, I think it's 6.78 inches if I remember correctly. It's a beautiful screen. It's got a very natural look to it, very neutral tones, unlike vivid modes that we've seen on other phone manufacturers. So I actually really like the screen. There's a little camera on the top, a little camera cutout right on the top left side. Again, very much like almost every phone manufacturer is doing. I think if you put this phone next to the Oppo Find X2 or the Motorola Edge Plus, any of those, they look identical from the front. I kind of liked the way the OnePlus 7T Pro had that pop-up camera coming up. It gave it a nice little look to it. Unfortunately, that's missing on the OnePlus 8 Pro, and it looks like almost every other phone out there from the front side. Now, as far as the specs and performance is concerned, there's never been any complaint with OnePlus devices in the past, and the OnePlus 8 Pro delivers as well. It has a Snapdragon 865 processor. The unit that was sent for me for reviews got 12 gigs of RAM and 256 of storage. It's super fast, and the 120 Hz refresh rate on the screen helps you see that. I mean, yes, we've had fast phones in the past, but because the screen is so fast and running at QHD resolution, you actually feel the phone much faster. The Oxygen OS that's part of the OnePlus devices is quite a lean OS and lets you get around quite easily. It doesn't add a lot of load to the overall Android experience. In fact, it adds some tweaks that actually improve the overall, the stock Android experience. So I quite like this. Having said that, I'm still a bigger fan of Samsung's One UI. Yes, it's a drastic change from your stock Android, but I think Samsung's done really good over the last few years where they have really polished the UI to a point where it doesn't look like any other Android phone. It's got its own design language, so that helps it stand out. The Oxygen OS, on the other hand, is a very stock kind of OS, has a very stock look. So if you like that pixel kind of look, then you will enjoy this on there. One of the weaknesses that OnePlus has always had is with the camera, and yes, they've made some good strides with the OnePlus 8 Pro. It now has 4 cameras on the back, or I don't know, maybe 5 cameras, who knows? I've stopped counting. The main primary camera is a good camera. However, I found it to be a little slow when there is not ample lighting. What that means is that by the time I hit the shutter button and by the time it captures the image, it would take a little, maybe just a fraction of a second or a second, which would sort of make me lose that particular instance that I wanted to capture. Now, I mean, just to give you a comparison, if you have a Pixel or if you have an iPhone or if you have the Huawei P40 Pro, those phones capture really good images, definitely better than the OnePlus 8 Pro does, and faster than the OnePlus 8 Pro as well. So those are obviously better cameras than what we have on the OnePlus 8 Pro. Having said that, this is still a pretty good camera. I managed to get some decent shots out of it as long as I wasn't taking pictures of objects that were running around. So if you are one who likes to take pictures of landscapes or, I don't know, flowers or whatever else, even portrait mode, as long as you can get your subject to stay still, this can take some really good shots. Battery life is great on the OnePlus 8 Pro. There hasn't been a single day where it hasn't lasted me till the end of the day. Almost every single day I have almost 30 to 40% left on the phone. So from a battery perspective, it's great. It also supports fast charging. It's not super fast charging like some of the other phones, but what it does do really well is very fast wireless charging. You do need the OnePlus wireless charger to get 30 watts of wireless charging, which is unheard of in the industry. But hey, at least it supports wireless charging now, which is something that OnePlus has never done before. Also new is the IP68 rating. Yes, it officially has that rating now. So while OnePlus has said in the past where their phones can be waterproofed or water resistant, this now has an official rating to it. Now, the thing is, when you put all of those things together, obviously that adds to the cost of the device, which is why the OnePlus 8 Pro is their most expensive phone yet. It starts at $900 or $1,000 if you want to get the higher end version. The question to ask is whether at $1,000, for which you can get the Samsung S20 Ultra or any other flagship phone, is this phone worth it? If you're looking at it from a specs perspective, yes, outside the camera, this phone has everything else that is needed to compete in that space. But again, the problem is that OnePlus has always been about value, has always been about that. So, in the past, when you wanted to pick a OnePlus 8 phone, you would compare it to the flagship phones of Samsung or Huawei or Apple and pay a lot less for it. Now that thing's changed. Now you're paying equally as much. So the question is then, why would you want to buy the OnePlus 8 phone? It has a nice software experience, it's got a nice design, it's got a nice screen, it checks all of those boxes. Camera is the only thing, like I said, it's lacking on. But other than that, it does check all of the other boxes. However, I would still not pay $900 for this phone. I think it's a little bit too much. If it was priced close to $700, I think that would make it ideal. That would make it a perfect phone, and definitely one that I would highly recommend for any Android phones. At that $1,000 level, there are other phones that compete with it and at times beat it. So, at that price point, I'm not 100% sure if this is the phone that you should go for. Do let us know what you think of our opinion of the OnePlus 8 Pro in the comments below. Keep them coming, and again, please do subscribe and hit the bell icon. This is Abbas signing out, and for everything in the world of tech, stay tuned to techradar.com.